Just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me and in my government.
This is my video update on this Thursday afternoon, December the 12th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And we have Trudeau's response to Trump's trolling. Trump has been trolling, mocking Trudeau really hard over the past couple of weeks. And Trudeau has now given an answer to Trump's trolling. And Trudeau's answer was that the U.S. should have voted for Kamala Harris. Actually, the U.S. should have voted for Hillary Clinton and also for Kamala Harris. And Trudeau said that he remains dedicated to the feminist cause. That was Trudeau's reply to the weeks of Trump mockery. Trudeau's correct response to what Trump has been saying should have been, as Prime Minister of Canada, we're going to do our best to work with President-elect Trump and his administration, but also as a sovereign and free Canada, we are going to explore our partnership and trading options outside of the United States. Boom. There you go. There you go, Trudeau. That's the correct response to what Trump has been saying and what he has been posting on Truth Social about Trudeau and being the governor of Canada and stuff like that. Anyway, that was Trudeau's response. Elon Musk, he actually replied to the video of Trudeau responding to Trump, and Musk said, "He's such an insufferable tool, won't be in power much longer." Won't be in power much longer. That would have been my clown world, but I have so many other incredible clown world stories that I put the Trudeau video as the opening segment, and I have a couple of clown worlds which are just as good as the opening speech from Trudeau. Let's get to some big news, which is that yesterday the Zelensky regime, the United States, the U.S. military, they launched 6 ATACMS into Russian territory. And the interesting part about this U.S.-Ukraine attack into pre-2014 Russia is that these 6 missiles were not targeting the Kursk region. Remember, the Biden White House said that the ATACMS into Russian territory would only be focused on the Kursk region because of the North Korean troops and stuff like that, which no one can seem to find. But that was the reasoning that they gave in green-lighting long-range missiles into pre-2014 Russia. These 6 missiles, they hit the Rostov region in the southwest of Russia, very close to Crimea, actually. And they hit a town, a city, with a military base, military facilities called Taganrog. And the 6 missiles, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, 2 of the missiles were shot down by Russian air defense, and 4 of the missiles were brought down from electronic jamming. But some of the debris of the missiles, they did land on this military facility. They caused some damage, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, minor damage on the base, on the facility. From what I understand, some of the debris landed on a car park, and there were a couple of people that were that were injured, minor injuries. But all in all, this was a failure of an attack. An ATACMS failure, another ATACMS failure, because the ATACMS, they have been operating for what now, a year and a half, 2 years, and they've been a complete failure. The ATACMS missiles suck. They suck. At least they suck against Russian air defenses. But the Biden White House, they chose a target outside of Kursk because they're trying to provoke Russia. No doubt about it. They're trying to provoke Russia into some sort of a response. And they fired these missiles about, what, 3 weeks after the last ATACMS strike. So we've now had 4 long-range missile strikes into Russia. We've had three separate ATACMS strikes, and we've had 1 Storm Shadow strike into Russia. The Russian Ministry of Defense, they came out with a statement, and they said that the attack by Western long-range weapons will not go unanswered, and appropriate measures will be taken. That is what the Russian Ministry of Defense said. And notice how the Russian Ministry of Defense was very quick to report on the ATACMS strike into Russia. So the Biden White House is trying to provoke Russia into some sort of a response. I imagine they came to the conclusion, the Biden White House, the Pentagon, Sullivan, Blinken, they probably came to the decision, the conclusion that, Russia is, if they do respond to long-range missile strikes, they'll probably just keep it inside of Ukraine, given that the Trump administration is going to come into office in about a month's time, a little over a month. And so obviously Russia is waiting to see what Trump is going to do with Project Ukraine. And they're not going to want to aggravate the situation or escalate too much in their retaliation. So they're going to probably keep it confined to Ukraine, which means that as the Biden administration, we're not really going to be risking a World War III nuclear type of scenario or escalation in our final month in office. So yeah, let's just go ahead and launch these ATACMS. And maybe Russia will respond by sending an Oreshnik or something like that into Ukraine. They're probably betting, or they're hoping, that Russia retaliates in a way where the collective West media can spin it into something that will sabotage or make very difficult Trump's future negotiations with Putin. Russia retaliates with an Oreshnik in Kiev, and then the collective West media can run articles about how Putin's a barbarian and he targeted populated areas or something like that, and then they can say it's prohibited. It would be crazy for Trump to continue to negotiate with Putin, the warmonger barbarian. That's what they're hoping to elicit from this provocation, launching long-range missiles into Rostov. That's what the Biden White House is hoping for. Russia knows this. They know that the Biden White House is trying to provoke. They know that the Biden White House wants to derail any future discussions with the incoming Trump administration. They have to retaliate. They're going to retaliate, but they're 5-10 steps ahead of Bidenopolis and Blinken and foreign policy whiz kid Jake Sullivan. But the Biden White House is freaking out, man. They are freaking out at the diplomacy that Trump and Orban are engaged in with Russia. No doubt about it. Trump and Orban, they are setting the table for future negotiations with Russia. No doubt about it. Trump in Paris, meeting with Macron and Zelensky for 35 minutes. Trump tells Zelensky, I want a ceasefire. I want this conflict to end. Zelensky tells Trump, hey, Mr. Trump. Trump says, shut up. I don't want to hear it. And then Orban goes to the United States. He meets with Trump and Musk and Waltz. And then Orban calls Putin for an hour. They have a good phone call. The Kremlin readout was very polite, very positive towards Orban's phone call with Putin. And no doubt about it that Trump, Orban, Waltz, Kellogg, Musk, Vance, they're setting things up for some sort of a negotiation or a discussion with Putin and with Russia. And Trump definitely wants to get the U.S. out of Project Ukraine. And this is freaking out the Biden White House. It is freaking them out big time. So not only are they once again launching ATACMS missiles into Russia on the hopes that they can get Russia to act in a way that they can then scuttle any type of conversation between Trump and Putin, but they're also escalating on the sanctions side of things. Now, the European Union, they approved the 15th sanctions package against Russia. 15 sanctions packages, man. Wow. And the first 14 did nothing. Did nothing. They made Russia a lot stronger. They made Europe a lot weaker. So why not go for a 15th? Lucky number 15. That is what Ursula said. Why not? And these sanctions, they focus on Russian oil. They're focusing on the Russian shadow fleets. Shadow fleets. The hidden tankers that are sailing the high seas, which no one can locate, no one can see, with the ghost captain and the ghost crew, the Russian, the sinister, the evil, the terrifying Russian shadow fleets. The way they manipulate words, the narratives that the collective West comes up with. We're going to sanction the Russian shadow fleets. That's right. That is what the 15th package is targeting. Politico says EU approves new sanctions on Russian shadow fleet. The penalties will bar dozens of additional ships from EU ports. Something like 78 tankers or something like that in total are now barred from entering the European Union, carrying oil. The shadow fleet. I like it. I have to admit, it's got a Pirates of the Caribbean type of vibe to it, doesn't it? That's what I was saying on a video that we did on the Duran, me and Alexander, when we were talking about the shadow fleet sanctions on this mysterious fleet of ships. It's very Pirates of the Caribbean, Ghost of Kiev vibe to it. Alexander explained in the video that basically what they consider to be a shadow tanker, a shadow fleet, is basically a ship that isn't insured by London. That's it. It's just a ship that isn't insured by London. That's all it is. That's all it is. Anyway, they're sanctioning these ships in the 15th package, the European Union. And what this is going to do is this is just going to cause more disruptions in getting the oil from A to B, getting the oil from Russia to Europe, and Europe absolutely needs the oil. And it's just going to increase the price of oil, of energy, of everything. Inflation. Ursula's 15th sanctions package is inflation for the EU. That is her sanctions package. That's what's going to happen. But she's going to stick it to Putin, though, right? Yeah, this is going to cause some short-term disruption for Russia. Short-term. They'll work it out, and they'll get the oil to where it needs to go. Never in my life, never, ever in my life have I seen a situation where someone is sitting with a bunch of oil, a country, an entity has a bunch of oil, and they're saying, man, I've got all this oil. What do I do? Who's going to buy all this oil? What do I do with all this freaking oil? No, that never, ever happens. That never will happen. That oil will get sold. It's going to get sold at a higher price. but it's going to get sold and it will get delivered to the European Union. It is going to be Russian oil that is going to be powering much of the EU economy, but it is going to come at a very hefty price. And that means that EU citizens are going to pay for it via inflation. So the EU, that's what they're targeting in their 15 sanctions package. And we are getting reports from US media that Bidenopolis, in his final act as president of the United States towards Russia, it is going to be, at least Economic Sanctions Act, it is going to be to also sanction Russia's shadow fleet, Russian oil. That is going to be his big middle finger goodbye to Putin, to Trump, to the American citizen, to the American people, because once Biden enacts this type of sanction against Russia, well, the price increase is going to hit the United States as well. That is what Biden is going to do. He hasn't announced this yet, but the media is talking about this, and they're preparing everybody for the big announcement from Biden. He sanctioned Gazprom Bank last week, a couple of weeks ago, and he caused disruptions there, and he's going to now sanction Russian oil in a big way to the max, and that's going to be his goodbye. And of course, he's doing this because he wants to disrupt Trump and Putin. Any future discussions on Project Ukraine, he wants to disrupt those discussions. He wants to make it difficult for Trump to engage in dialogue with Putin. He wants to increase prices in the United States, right? He's not going to be president anymore. Harris lost. Trump won. So what does Biden care if he cranks up the prices as he exits? What does he care? Let Trump deal with it. And Trump's going to be in a difficult position because if he rolls back these sanctions that Biden is imposing on Russian oil in order to bring inflation down, then the mainstream media is going to run with articles calling Trump a Putin stooge. So Trump's going to have to navigate this a bit. And what he should probably do is just ignore enforcing this type of sanction on Russian oil tankers. That's what he should probably do. Just ignore it. Don't roll it back. Don't cancel it, because then they're going to come after you and call you a Putin stooge. Just don't enforce it. And hopefully over time, that'll bring the soon-to-be price spike. Hopefully that'll bring it down. But anyway, that is what is coming. Biden is doing everything he can in his power to make it difficult for Trump, for Putin, for dialogue, for negotiations, and to make it difficult on the everyday people trying to hurt the Trump administration. Bidenopolis, Greece's favorite son. So Orban, he posted on X. I always say he posted a tweet. I always have to catch myself. It's not a tweet anymore, so I have to say he posted on X. Orban posted on X. At the end of the Hungarian EU presidency, we made new efforts for peace. We proposed a Christmas ceasefire and a large-scale prisoner exchange. It's sad that President Zelensky clearly rejected and ruled this out today. We did what we could. Yeah, they don't like Zelensky. Orban doesn't like Zelensky. Trump doesn't like Zelensky. When Orban posts a tweet. When Orban posts something like this on X, you know that he's sticking it to Zelensky, right? I wanted a Christmas ceasefire. I proposed a Christmas ceasefire one day, a ceasefire for one day, and Zelensky said no. And then Orban, what does he say in this post? We did what we could. Wow. We did what we could. But Zelensky just continues to block any chance of a ceasefire or a peace deal. That is what Orban is saying. And if Orban is saying it, then you know that is what Trump is also thinking. Putting the blame squarely on Zelensky. Not a good sign if you're the Green Goblin. But he did respond. He did respond, and his office, Zelensky didn't personally respond, but his office said that this is untrue. He said that this Christmas ceasefire was not proposed to Ukraine from Orban. Zelensky actually posted before Orban posted this Christmas post. Zelensky, he posted on X that he was upset with Orban calling Putin. So the timeline is Zelensky posts on X about how he's upset with Orban and Putin having a phone call. Orban posts on X that he offered a Christmas ceasefire to Zelensky, and Zelensky rejected it. And then Zelensky's office comes out with a statement and says that what Orban is saying about a ceasefire never was proposed to us. That's the timeline of things. Let me read you what Zelensky posted that started this whole thing. We all hope that PM Viktor Orban at least won't call Assad in Moscow to listen to his hour-long lectures as well. I'm absolutely clear that achieving real peace and guaranteed security requires America's determination, European unity, and the unwavering commitment of all the partners of the blah, 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 blah. No one should boost personal image at the expense of unity. Everyone should focus on shared success. Unity in Europe has always been key to achieving it. There can be no discussions about the war that Russia wages against Ukraine without Ukraine. Zelensky is pissed off that he is being cut out of the negotiation process. That's right, he is upset that all of this diplomacy, all of these talks are taking place. And Podolyak, why am I not invited? Macron invited me. Why didn't Trump invite me to Mar-a-Lago? I could go to Mar-a-Lago. I could speak with Orban. I could speak with Trump. I could speak to this Musk guy, who I think is worth... Podolyak, is this true? Is Musk worth $400 billion? Yes, Mr. President. He is now worth $400 billion. Oh, wow. Wow, Podolyak. Maybe Musk could give me 50 billion, maybe? I don't know. I can buy many homes. Yeah, he's upset. He's upset that he's being cut out, which is the right move from Orban and from Trump. You don't need Zelensky, man. You really don't. Go straight to Putin. Get the decision makers. Get the decision makers in a room. You don't need Europe. You don't need Zelensky. U.S., Russia, and see if something can be worked out. With Hungary, Orban, mediating. Why not? That sounds like a great plan to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Yeah, Zelensky's mad. He is getting cut out, and he is upset. So Macron, he is in Poland. Or actually, no, he's going to be in Poland tomorrow. He's on his way to Poland. I talked about this yesterday in my video update. And the reports are that Macron is going to be speaking with Donald Tusk. And Macron is going to propose 40,000 troops in Ukraine. That's going to be the proposition coming from little Napoleon. He wants 40,000 European troops going to Ukraine as, I think he said as a stabilization force, as a peacekeeping force. I think that's the way that Macron was phrasing it. But you know what Macron wants to do? Because he's in a panic right now, but he's run out of time. He's in a panic because of what's happening in Kursk. The Russian military is very close, maybe a couple of weeks off from closing up the cauldron in Kursk. And this is going to be a big encirclement. We're not talking hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers trapped in Kursk. We're talking thousands and thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Right now, there still is a road that can reinforce and supply the troops in Kursk. But Russia's very close to creating a very big, devastating cauldron. And that would mean the Ukraine military's most elite, best men with the best weaponry encircled and trapped in Kursk, which would be the biggest blow to the whole Kursk narrative that we could have ever possibly imagined. The whole Kursk narrative that has been going on for the last 6 months, starting with Ukraine's incursion into Russia and leading up to North Korean troops in Kursk, could come to a crashing end. A crashing end. With tens of thousands of elite forces trapped by the Russian military. And this could happen in a couple of weeks. And my sense of things is that Macron is panicking and he's running to Poland. Where else is he going to go? He can't go to Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. What's he going to do there? So he's running to Poland, and he is going to try and convince Tusk, beg Tusk to agree to troops entering Ukraine. But time's run out. Time has run out. There's no way you're going to be able to get 40,000 soldiers into Ukraine in 2-3 weeks. And all of this could happen before Trump even takes office. So this would be a huge embarrassment for the Biden White House if something like this happens in Kursk. A huge debacle. A military debacle, a media debacle, an optics debacle, you name it. This would be a huge disaster. But from what I understand, speaking with Alexander on this topic, Syrskyi does have a couple of more weeks to get those troops out and to avoid an encirclement. But he has to act today. Time is of the essence. If he doesn't act in the next couple of days to start retreating troops from Kursk, then they're in big trouble. So that is why Macron is in Poland. In my opinion, he's in Poland to try and figure out how to save these forces. Reminds me of 2014-15, right before the Minsk Accords, and Merkel running to Putin to save the Ukraine NATO, the Ukraine undercover NATO forces that were encircled by the Donbass militia. And that's how we ended up with Minsk. So from what I understand, Poland is not so hot on this idea. Or at least the Polish defense minister said, we're not going to send any soldiers into Ukraine unless we have a UN mandate or at a minimum some sort of decision from NATO. He said that's the only way we're going to even consider sending Polish troops into Ukraine. So that's going to be the most likely response from Tusk, but who knows? We'll see. Macron does have a certain charm where maybe he'll convince Tusk to go ahead and join him in this adventure. Macron does need all the distractions, as many distractions as he can get at this moment, because things are not going well for his government in France. So Blinken is on the way to Turkey. He will be in Turkey, I believe, tomorrow. He will be meeting with the Turkish foreign minister, maybe even Erdogan, Turkish officials. And he is running to Turkey so that they can discuss Syria. Two things that Blinken wants to discuss with Turkey. The first thing is he wants to figure out a formula solution to the Turkish-backed forces, to Turkey. Let's not even call them Turkish-backed forces, to Turkey, fighting with the US-backed Kurds in Syria. He wants to stop the fighting. They got a kind of ceasefire, but actually yesterday they started fighting again. And this is worrying the United States. Turkey absolutely wants to annihilate the Kurds in Syria. They want to prevent the Kurds from creating any kind of a state or a presence in Syria, an autonomous region or something like that in Syria. They want to prevent it. Now is their opportunity to go after the Kurds. The Kurds are backed by the United States. So Blinken is going to Ankara to see what he can do, to see if he can get some sort of a deal between Turkey, the US, and the Kurds. Of which Erdogan, you know what Erdogan's going to say? Whatever, Blinken. Whatever, Blinkety Blinken. Say whatever you want. You're Audi 5000 in a month, and then we can deal with the Trump administration. So we're not going to really take what you have to say too seriously. That's going to be the response from Turkey. But the other thing that Blinken wants to talk about is to see if he can get weapons from Syria under the Turkish military control, if he can get those weapons sent to Project Ukraine. Because there are a bunch of weapons that the Turkish military that they have in their possession in Syria, from Syria, and he wants to see if he can get those weapons, purchase those weapons, I don't know, make a deal with Turkey and get those weapons sent to the Zelensky regime. Those are the two main issues that Blinken wants to discuss with Erdogan. So in other news, before we get to the two big clown worlds, we have Christoforou, the FBI director, well, now the ex-FBI director. He has resigned. Christoforou has resigned. He said that Kash Patel is the new FBI director, so there's no reason for me to remain on the job. Kash Patel, by the way, gave an interview the other day, and he said in the interview that when he's approved by Congress, let's hope Congress approves him as FBI director, he said that he is going to try and figure out where all of the money for Project Ukraine went. That's what he said. Good on you, Kash Patel. Good on you. He said, it's 1 billion. If it was 1 billion, okay. But he was saying in the interview, we're not talking about 1 billion. We're talking about hundreds of billions. Where did all this money go? We need to take a look and see what's going on here. Absolutely. Maybe that's why Biden is giving out so many pardons today. He gave out something along the lines of, I don't even know, 39 or 40 pardons or some crazy number. Let me pull up X here and see. I think I bookmarked this. Biden commutes roughly 1,500 sentences and pardons 39 people in biggest single-day act of clemency. Yeah, they're worried if Kash Patel starts digging into what was going on in Project Ukraine over the many, many years. Mr. FBI Director Patel, it's not only the 3 years of the conflict. You need to go back to 2014. No. You need to go back to 2003. Start at 2003 with the first color revolution in Ukraine and start figuring out where all the money went. That would be interesting to find out what was going on in Ukraine over the many, many decades. And Biden, he sees what's going on, or the people around Biden, they see what's going on, and they got the professor to issue a whole bunch of pardons today. The biggest single-day act of clemency, courtesy of Professor Biden. Maria Zakharova, she issued a statement. She said in a statement from the foreign ministry, telling Russian citizens to be careful about traveling to the United States, a travel advisory. That is what she issued, a travel advisory to Russians. If they're thinking about traveling to the U.S., don't. Because according to Maria Zakharova, at this moment in time, if you go to the United States and you're a Russian national, the U.S. authorities, the Biden White House, they might try to nab you and then use you as leverage over Russia. And according to Maria Zakharova, the U.S. authorities, as they've done in the past, they usually make up charges to grab you, and then it's all about a prisoner exchange. And this has happened in the past, and she's warning Russians, especially during the holiday season, do not go to the United States. Or if you go to the United States, be very, very careful. Do not go. Do not go. That is what she's saying. That's the travel warning, the travel advisory. So let's do some clown worlds, and we will wrap this video up. It's going to be a long video, but hopefully we can do these clown worlds quickly, even though they're fantastic clown worlds. We have the Iranian mothership, right? We had a U.S. congressman. What's this dude's name? Jeff Van Drew. Congressman Jeff Van Drew from New Jersey. He was on Fox News speaking to Harris Faulkner, and he said that there was a mothership outside of New Jersey, and this mothership was launching drones into New Jersey, in the New Jersey skies, and this is an Iranian mothership.
And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly.
Which brings so many questions. So many questions. How in God's name did Iran get so close to the United States? If you go by this congressman's statement, how did they get so close to the United States so as to have a mothership launching drones into New Jersey? How does this happen? Is the U.S. military not seeing anything? Is something wrong with protecting the U.S. coastline? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but the Pentagon spokeswoman Singh, Sabrina, I believe Sabrina Singh, she said that there is no Iranian mothership, no such thing. She was asked about this, about the statements on Fox News by Van Drew, and she said, no, this is not an Iranian mothership launching drones into the United States. She said these are not U.S. military drones either, but she didn't say what this was. she didn't say what all of these drones were. She just kind of left it there. This whole thing reminds me of the Chinese balloons of 2023, doesn't it? That's the video, everybody. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like what I am wearing in this video update, which is a long sleeve shirt with the flag of Austria. You will find the link to the Duran shop in the description box down below. Take care.